welcome to the MVP Show. Full show notes for this episode can be found at nz365guy.com/253. Before we chat with today's guest, here's a quick message from our sponsors. Today's show is brought to you by the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge. It's amazing what can change in 90 days. Just look at the effects of COVID-19 since March. This year, I had the pleasure of mentoring 100 people in the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge. If you want to be mentored in the next 90-day challenge, please go to nz365guy.com/mentor. Today's MVP guest is from Montreal, Canada. He's the PowerApps practice lead with XRM Vision. He's a first-time MVP, so new to the community. He is currently a TDG community lead. He was a soccer coach for some of the most famous teams in the world. You can find him on YouTube at Z Power Diver. And one thing I'm missing here is your Twitter handle, Eric Sauve. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Mark. Thank you to have me join the show. And the Twitter handle is also Z Power Diver. And it's nice for you to say it right.
Yeah, because what did I call it? Driver for so long? And
oh yeah.
It's my dyslexia. I see a word, I don't pronounce it out, and I just go with whatever gut feel, and it's not often right. So are you a French Canadian?
Yes, je parle français, c'est ma langue natale. Yes, indeed.
Very, very cool. Well, it's so good to finally get you on the show. How long have you been an MVP now?
It's been just over 10 months. I got my MVP award on January 1st or something around
Wow. So coming up a year. This is so cool.
Mm-hmm. Quite a turn of the year party.
Yeah. So it's 3 questions I always like to open with is tell me about your family, what your favorite food is, and what do you do for fun?
So about my family, I have 3 kids, 2 daughters and a baby son who's turned 21 this year. And I'm also a grandfather of 2 little boys, one who's 2, the other one is not even 1 yet. And I've got a marvelous wife who I've been with her for, 27 years now. And there were 2 other points, right, to cover?
Yeah. So that's family. Tell me about food. And I tell you, I've seen some of you got to be into bacon, right? Maple bacon?
Yes. I actually, this year with all the pandemic and stuff, I kind of been quiet with that. But last year I was doing a lot of smoking. So I have like a smoker. So I have the bacon, smoked meat, all kinds of stuff like that. But this year it's more like barbecue stuff. I have a very sweet tooth. Sweet tooth.
Sweet tooth.
Sweet tooth, yeah. That I have a lot, and that's about the food.
I love it. And then the final one, fun, and I know there's going to be a motorcycle involved.
Indeed. I actually got a new bike this year, a Harley Davidson, good American cycle, and this weekend I actually enjoyed it because we're like in the turning leaf time, like in the fall, so temperature is getting colder. But I still able to enjoy it.
Nice. Mm-hmm. I love it. Listen, I've just come off a phone call from, a phone call. We say they're phone calls, but it was a Teams call, right? And a guy hit me up on LinkedIn a week or 2 ago and said, listen, I want to switch careers and I want to chat with you about what path I should go down. And he's a guy in what would you call it? He's in financial services sector, seller in that space in America. And anyhow, I get on the call with him and he goes, I'm 35 years old and I'm really worried, should I be switching career at this age in my life? And I cough, and go, mate, 35, you're a spring chicken.
Yes.
What's been your story around how you got into the Power Platform? What's your journey being to get you to this point?
Well, you see, Mark, and we've chatted about this before, but I started my career in IT. I did that for several years, but I think over the turn of the century, just a bit after that, I went through some issues and, had some personal kind of, drawbacks So around 2005 or six, I quit IT totally, and I went out in audiovisual, like AV, home automation stuff, and did my business in that, and went there for a couple of years. And it allowed me to, do that big reset. When we hit the reset button, and see different kind of people, see different kind of businesses, different style of work. But eventually, your first love kind of comes back to you. So at some point, I had an opportunity from a very good friend of mine who said, Eric, I know you've got the brains, and I know you've got the skills and the ability to learn quick. And I have this company I'm dealing with, and they need to put in place a CRM. And I said, well, why not? And I jumped on that, and that kind of got me started. And like 5 years ago, I started 5 years ago today, actually. I switched to XRM Vision, a very leading partner in Canada. They're very specialized in the CRM world, and that's where I started. And I, did my little stuff and went up as a solution architect, and I would say like kind of stalling into a on-premise old version type of project. And at some point I said, I have to craft my own job. This was the entrepreneur side of me who kind of came out, that I have to craft my own job. And there was this little shiny thing happening here and there, that was about 2-3 years ago, called PowerApps. I said, let's look into this. And really, at first, when I went in there, I said, no way I'm going to invest my pennies in there. It's not ready. It's not mature. It's not there. It's just a bunch of, buzzwords and stuff. But I learned better than that. I followed it. I jumped into it, and I just ended up, giving up much of my free time that I was putting in gaming and stuff. I invested in my career, invested in the learning what the Power Platform, what the Power Apps, what became the Power Platform was about. And like I say, I crafted my job, and now I'm a Power Practice lead, Power Platform practice lead.
Wow. And I remember talking to you some time ago, and where your company didn't really have the appetite to go that way at that time, because as you say, you didn't want to invest your pennies in it, and you were getting opinion from other folks in that at that point that was entrenched in, our Dynamics world. You took that pivot and you did that all on your own bat, right? It wasn't that your employer said, hey, I want you to go out and invest in this technology all your own time. You did that yourself because you wanted to craft a career that you wanted.
Exactly, Mark. You've said it right. I crafted my career. I decided to put that on my own time. And eventually the company followed through because they saw, what I was bringing, what the value was. But, I did invest a lot of personal time in that. But at the same time, I told you, like, my baby son, he's 21. So I have lots of available time that I can invest in that. And my wife is very, forgiving about this. And she understood, what the big game is about, looking ahead. And she said, Eric, go and do what you need to do.
Nice. So tell me, from deciding to invest into the Power Platform and Power Apps and Power Automate and the whole suite of products that fills out the Power Platform, what's been that journey for you, and kind of what was the effort that you put in? Like, and even go into what resources did you start to consume? What were the actions? Like, I'm wondering if people are listening to the show that are going, what steps do I need to take to get really proficient in the technology area? Kind of give us it, warts and all, kind of the investment in your time, your effort, your learning that you went through.
So first of all, I'm not a big sleeper, so that provides me with plenty of available time. So that's one thing. But really, I invested my time first in the community forums, going out there, looking at what was being posted, and trying to replicate what the people were facing in terms of issues, and try to resolve it. So in that, you get a whole process of understanding what are the real use cases out there. What's the real purpose of these? Because tools are great, but what makes things happen are solutions. So when you see those tools being applied in real use case, that's when you get solutions. So I went into the forums, look into what the people were facing in terms of issues, trying to replicate that. So first there's the learning process of how does this tool work and how do I make it work and how do I replicate this issue, and then trying to resolve it. I didn't solve it all the time, but just the learning process of trying to replicate that was a big thing. So that was my big, the big part of my initial efforts were in there. So getting into the official forums and some of the UG forums. And, I was not answering so much back because, like I say, I was learning more about it and taking that process. But eventually I started replying and I started going into what we call the social medias. Ooh, what a beast. Because before that, for me, I was on Facebook for my personal stuff. Yeah, I had a CV on LinkedIn, but that was about it. Everything else was just, nothing there. So I went out there because there's a big community. It's so awesome. The number of people out there that are, willing to share and help other people. It's just amazing. So that was my big key point, I would say, to learn and move forward with this.
So tell us then your path to becoming an MVP. How did that come about?
The funny thing is, initially, I had seen those guys with those 3 letters, guys and girls with those 3 letters here and there. And okay, yeah, it's cool, but I didn't pay much attention to it. And then at some point, because of all this, I guess, community investment and all the effort and everything I was doing there, someone at Microsoft actually nominated me. But I wasn't ready in the sense that, I hadn't gone through the whole real contribution activity, being structured about it. And, so it was more like, okay, I was thrown into there and actually got rejected the first time. I didn't get the award. So, but that kind of sparked the interest. And I said, you know what, let's work on this. And I got even more involved in the community. And I started following some guys like Mark Smith, for example. I don't know if you know him. And some other guy, like I think he was on your PowerApp Live today. What's his name? Gonzales. Yes. So, those 2 guys who were providing shows, podcasts, YouTube videos and whatnot about how to become an MVP. And this really, what it helped me about was about how to structure my contributions, how to track my activities, how to bring value, because MVP, and that's how I say it now, MVP is just a way for Microsoft to say, you know what, you're sharing a lot and what you share brings value. That's what it is about, nothing more. That's what it is about. But to get to there, you have to follow some good guidelines about, how you contribute. And most of all, that's one of the big lessons I learned from you. I learned from Gus and the others. Do something you love. Do something that is natural for you. Because I've tried all kinds of stuff. Yes, I have a YouTube channels. Yes, I have, different kinds of stuff. But, where I was the most prolific were 2 things. My blog, but now more and more, it's actual conferences and presentations. That's where I have my love. That's where I have my fun. That's where, it's most natural for me to go and share. Focus on that. And another big key lessons I learned also, and that was from a one-on-one discussion we had, the 2 of us, is about focus. Especially when you're starting off. Eventually, you get your name out there and you can share more than that. But especially when you're starting in this path, focus on something and just focus on that thing. And that thing for me was, in fact, AI Builder. I had an opportunity to be involved in the initial private preview and stuff. And I just focused on that. And I just hammered everything I was doing and everything I've been doing since in terms of contributions. The main part is about AI Builder, be recognized as a key player in that.
Wow. So what a journey. Now, and I asked this question kind of knowing the answer, but of course That took you to Seattle quite a bit, right? You ended up doing engagement with the product teams. Tell us a bit about that.
That's actually a very nice part indeed. Being involved with the product team, and the thing is, even before becoming an MVP, with the community and the Microsoft product team, what you end up realizing is all these people. We do put some of these people on a pedestal. You call that, yeah. So, Mark, he's a superstar, and those product manager, there's like super king superstars. But at the end of the day, we're all humans, and we're all pretty much the same, and have our day-to-day stuff to get through. And those product manager and the product teams, they have goals to achieve. They have to get the feedback, and they're stuck in their compound. They need the feedback. They need the contribution, and I realized that they valued that contribution when you do take the time, not just to complain, but bring, what I call constructive feedback, right? You say that in English, yes? So, so bring back constructive feedback. Like, this is not working, but here's what I would recommend. And this is why it's not working, give the details. So I got very much involved, yes, with the AI, because of the focus I took, very much with the AI Builder team. Went to Seattle, but also directly, lots of Teams meeting, even before it was fashionable.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Until everyone was forced to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's very cool. So what's your involvement now with AI Builder? As in, have you more pivoted and doing a lot more in the Power Apps side of things, or are you still heavily involved in AI Builder?
It's still, I'm still very involved, but ever since the beginning, like AI Builder, it's still a child that needs or a child or a product suite that needs to get a good demonstration of value. There's still lots of work to do in there. I still very much believe in its value, but to get it into actual projects and customers, there's still a gap in there. So for me, it is a way to, because I believe in it. I keep contributing in it, but it's not my prime activities per se. Like, my real day-to-day stuff is doing Power Apps, model-driven, and Canvas apps. And yes, sometimes I do have to do SharePoint lists in the background. And doing Power Automate flows, building Power Virtual Agents chatbots, and no, not Power BI. That's the part I'm still missing, but I'm doing all over. Yes.
One thing, just out of interest, you mentioned at the start there that your former career was in home automation type things. So does that mean your home is tricked out?
Yeah, that's the part why my wife's patience was key. My home was an actual lab, so all the gizmos and gadgets, having coming into the house and having the alarm system go down, the fireplace go up, the music start off, and the lights. Light scene and all this stuff. Yes, that's what I have, but just a bit in every dimensions of this.
So are you using Alexa and Google Home or as your voice?
No, not at all. I don't use these voice recognition stuff. What I have is a system that is based on what we call Control 4. It's a professional home automation system. So
you've not done anything on Raspberry Pi or anything like that?
No, I'm not that geeky. It's been a while. Like, when I started, I was that kind of geek. I actually cracked Novell. I don't know if you know about Novell network.
And it was around when I started in IT. Yeah.
I actually cracked the login of Novell. I was that geeky, but that's
back in the day. Yeah, wow, very good. I tell you, I think there's a few MVPs that have hacker backgrounds. In fact, I know of a few that definitely have hacker backgrounds. That when before they became, business professionals, got into the, that very murky grey hat side of accessing people's systems, maybe without their desire to be accessed. Yeah.
Black hats and black cats, yes.
Well, our time is already flowing, and I always, like to wrap these things up with some random questions that kind of might make you think a bit. And but before we go there, I run two other shows: the Power 365 show, which are generally Microsoft guests, and of course the Power Platform show, which is anybody in the Power Apps, Power Platform space that has a story, that I think would be valuable to the community. Is there anyone that you would like to see me interview on one of those shows that you would find it valuable for your own personal self-interest to drill into or hear what they had to say?
The nice thing is most people I would think of, you've already gone through them, I think. One guy that I actually kind of like is Andrew Welsh. I don't know if I know he's been on the MVP, but I don't know if he's been on one of those side shows. He does have that depth about the whole adoption framework and stuff, and he has so much to share in his personal life. It's great.
I like it. I'll note it down. Yeah, know him well. Okay, are you ready for your random questions?
Ready as you are. Yep.
Okay, I'll start my Power App spinner and let it just pop out a random question. Here's the first one. When do you feel most alive?
When I'm with people.
Nice. How are you able to love someone you don't agree with?
I actually love people that I don't agree with, in the sense that, I like challenges. I like exchanges. I like different ideas. So it's just natural.
I like it. If people came with a warning label, what would yours say?
Watch out for the big bear hug.
Nice. I like that. Next one. What do you love about yourself that you worry others will struggle to accept?
How emotional I can be.
Right.
Yeah, that's the best way I can say.
That's good. I like that. I like that because I probably would identify strongly with that myself. A lot of people think I'm kind of very rough and direct, but I also can cry very easily. So, yeah, interesting. Beliefs. What affirmation do you need to wire into your programming? Comments.
Make sure that the next person in line will be able to know what you've done.
I like it. Describe a time when you achieved what you were striving for, only to feel disappointed by the success.
I would say before I went out of IT, the company I was with, actually, I was at a prime level and the companies got sold. And, I was all hyped up because I participated in there, but all the underlying agreements went dead. So that's where I got disappointed.
Mate, it's been great to have you on the show. Thanks again. I'll make sure that I put in the show notes, of course, your links to your social media so people can connect with you there. Thanks again.
Thank you, Mark.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP Mark Smith, also known as the NZ365 Guy. Please like and subscribe to this podcast in your favorite podcast app. And if you'd love to leave a review, go to nz365guy.com/review for my current reviews and options to leave your own. See you next time.